I've made one of the worst cups I've made in months. And all I want to do right now is make it again. Here's the thing about failure, trying new things, and just seeing what everything is all about when it comes to getting out your comfort zone. I tried this recipe that I made on my app, which that's a story for another day. And it was with the Moccamaster. It told me to grind about the same fineness that I usually do. And then it told me to do a bloom. I never really do a bloom on the Moccamaster. I just treated it as a drip machine. So I let it run for a couple of seconds, enough to wet the bed, and then I turned it off. And then I waited another 30, 45 seconds. Once I did that, it ran like it normally did. So the cup was ready for me to drink. I poured my cup. I went ahead and started to take the first sip, and it was bolder. It was livelier. And I just sat there just drinking the cup of coffee from the Moccamaster. And as I customarily always do, I don't know if it's just in me, ingrained in me and all that good stuff, is that I took a TDS meter. And it was 2 on the TDS meter. And if you know, you want your coffee between 1.3, 1.2 on a weaker side to 1.5. But it was pushing 2. And this was a 1:16 ratio. So this coffee, if I did the math right, was about a 24, 25% extraction. And I looked at the numbers, and then I kept sipping the coffee. And then I was like, whoa, what just happened here? Am I liking an over-extracted coffee? I think this was dark roast too. Mixture between dark roast and light roast. I can't remember. It's a little fuzzy right now. And I just sat there and was wondering about all the things that I usually do when it comes to coffee. Measure, pour, use this particular grinder for this particular reason. Comfort zone. Status quo. Things that we always do whenever we make coffee, right? And I start thinking about the challenge or the failure challenge of how it's supposed to get me, right? How it's supposed to get me to get out of my comfort zone or to push me into my coffee knowledge and understanding. And it did. And I still think about that right now. I've done a couple failure challenges on this channel many times before. And they all teach me something. I always learn something from them. Mainly because I'm doing things that are beyond the things that I usually do. And for the most part, most of them, I'm learning something from. Something that I'll take with me as I continue to brew my cups of coffees and all that good stuff. Don't get me wrong, not all of them work. Like I did this French press recipe, it's dark roast, and follow it to a T, 4 minutes, stir, do this, do that. It's a little different. But when I tasted the coffee, it's just okay. But I would say a majority of them, at least 6, 7 out of 10, I'm learning something from. I am still questioning the way that I do things. And it's very empowering to understand or try to understand all the things that we do with coffee, how we measure, how we make sure the water's the right temperature, how we try to do the things that we're trying to do in order to make this cup of coffee the best that it can be. And then we start to think about things that we shouldn't do. And then I start thinking about failure again. How I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if I didn't fail at many things. Think about that. I'm sure you've gone through that too. To where you didn't really want to go through the whole failure part of it, but you did. And then when you really think about it in hindsight, all the things that you've learned throughout the way, because you pushed yourself, you got out of your comfort zone, you did something that you wouldn't have done, and you did this challenge or thing because of whatever reason. Think about that. If you actually succeeded in mostly everything that you have done in your life, you probably wouldn't have done other things. And that's how I'm here right now. I try different things. I like different things. I fall in and out of love of things. And I'm here talking to you about coffee and how changing a couple of variables, the subtraction of what we're used to, the constraints of what we're used to, will make you a better coffee brewer, will make you a better person, being more objective and more free about what you do with coffee. So yeah, I think about that cup, even though it was a couple of days ago, and I haven't made it back yet, and I will do it in the next day or so, just because how trippy it was, how well it worked, and how now I can go about looking at this thing into the way to where it does make sense as I continue to try to do the things that I'm trying to do. If that makes any sense. Sometimes I just ramble and don't make any sense whatsoever. It's allowed me to be to the point to where, like for the Moccamaster, that now I can probably be a little bit better about the grind size, meaning go a little bit coarser and still do the whole same thing as it relates to the bloom and then the coffee making itself, and it still be just as tasty as it was before. It's trippy how little different things like that, you'll get different skills along the way that you can share with others, that you can use in your toolbox in order for you to make your perfect cup of coffee, or just a better cup of coffee compared to whatever reason that you're doing it. So I didn't want to gloss over this, but I do want to talk about the whole logic and ideas of constraints. When you have everything, as you can see here, I have everything that I need and want in order to make a really fantastic cup of coffee. I have gear, instruments, I have my knowledge, I have my grinders, I have books, I have notebooks where I've written things down in order to just make a decent cup of coffee. But something about taking away a variable or two puts you in a place to where you're like, what the hell just went on just here? what went on here? This doesn't make any sense. But when you start to take away, when you start to experience it for what you never really imagined, that's when the magic really comes here. That's when the magic is like, wow, I didn't know that was possible because of what I'm used to. The gluttony of all the gear and stuff that I do have. Again, I'm wrestling with this more than anything. Even though I say don't do this, don't do that, you're going to do what you want to do, which is perfectly fine because you're your own person. But I go back and forth between what I can do, what I have done, and how much more I need of anything. But when you take away and really see things for what it is, it kind of just helps you, ground you, that you become more creative, that you start to open your eyes up. And it's different because you haven't done it all the time. You're just used to staying in your same sandbox and all that good stuff. So when I was thinking about this whole talk or episode or whatever, I usually do some writing. And towards the end of the writing, it's just something that I just do right now. And this one really hit me. So I'm not going to try to read it verbatim, but I do want to talk to you about it as we're here together concluding. Being uncomfortable isn't fun. It's uneasy. It's something, honestly, feel most of what we need in life. But the discomfort is what grows us and lets us make our own decisions on what matters the most. It's like things are on your own terms or trying to figure it out. And that part right there is the most refreshing part. It's your own limitations teaching you what you like and don't. I think I've said that in the past couple of minutes in some way, fashion, or form. But that just really just puts it out there for you. Let you think about it. Because that's the beauty of all of this, really. I may say, do this recipe. That person may say that, do this recipe. But at the end of the day, when you take away, strip, do things your own way, try to figure things out the way that you want to, that's when you start to learn and gravitate to your own understanding and being and your own doctrine and all that good stuff. That's the beauty of all of this. Like, I didn't look at these recipes. I was like, who made this recipe? Oh yeah, it's going to be fine. She's going to be fine. It doesn't matter anymore. You made that recipe. Why did you make it? Did you take something away? Did you follow the constraints of the recipe? Did you actually identify what those were? Are there something that you're going to take with you in your toolbox in order to grow yourself? Because that's all we're doing. We're just shaping. We're just shaping the way that we do things. I'm going to leave you off with this. It was interesting just talking to somebody online in the comments, and they were like, yeah, this is the way I actually brew my coffee. Get a bag of coffee, do this way, then that way, then this way, then this way. So they have about 5 protocols of what they do when they make their cup of coffee. And then from there, they kind of let the coffee speak to them. It's pretty cool. I don't go to that extreme, but it doesn't matter because that's his way of understanding that coffee. His ritual of trying to get it right. And when you really think about it, a lot of times if you are thinking about the whole, what can I cut? What can I not cut? You're probably eliminating something. So go more extreme with it. Go beyond your comfort zone. And I think that's where we're going to be learning as much as we can and making great coffees for ourselves. This is Oki at Everyday Bean signing off. I'll talk to you later. Let me know what you think. Bye.